little video about something not because I wanted to make a video about, or nah, it's just as something I had to do. I got these SMGA Magnepans over there, and as you can see, they miss their socks. And although some people think that the Magnepans sound better without a sock, which might be true for the high frequency depending on what kind of material the sock is made out of. For everything else, the sock does have a purpose as well. It's not only there because it's nice, because well, the Magnepans are made with a sock. That's the reason why if you get the sock off, you will notice that everything looks quite ugly. But that's just, you know, they don't need to do anything more than that. Just matte black, so you won't see it. But the sock does another purpose as well, and it is it dampens the resonance, and not completely by far. I mean, it is still sort of a resonance kind of loudspeaker with a peak at 50 Hertz or something, depending on how old they are. If they're new, it's more like 70. For the SMGA, that is, but I don't think there are any new SMGAs anymore, so they're mostly old. But this particular one is from '88, so it's quite old. But the previous owner did fix the banana peel things with the appropriate glue and a 30, and not contact cement thingy hard glue. It's supposed to be the rubbery stuff. Also because if it does fail again, you can clean it and do it again if you want, and not just throw away your membrane because you cannot get rid of the old glue. So that's the reason why 30NF is a quite good candidate. If you want to save the miler, that is. But yeah, so new socks, and they're expensive. I'm not sure what the new socks are online, like complete socks. I have no clue. Didn't look for it. My guess, directly from Magnepan, they're quite cheap. Buying them here in the Netherlands is probably gonna set you back a lot of money because, of course, the guy that imports the stuff wants to make a very decent living as well. So things will be twice as expensive, almost. So we're gonna make them ourselves. Only thing is, you need quite a lot of fabric. In this case, for a pair of SMGA, you need like 2.5 meters by 50 centimeters, sort of. But you can only buy for at lengths of a meter, of course. So I have to buy 3 meters. So with shipping it all, it's around 60 euros, and then you got 2 socks and some leftover fabric, what has a size that I cannot use because I have lots of fabric, but not the correct size. It looks almost like I'm collecting this kind of fabric, which is not true. It's not true. I don't collect fabric. Okay. And what I'm gonna do, I am gonna use, the thing is 46 centimeters, and that's what I'm gonna use. And you might think, yeah, but that might be too small. But this material is stretched, and you want it to stretch a little at least. But do keep in mind that you have to got enough length. So if you really would make it, this panel is 120, thereabout. If you would only make a fabric of 240, you won't get there. So I chose to cut the whole 3 meters. So I got major stuff left over, but at least at least it doesn't become too short and you can throw away again a lot of fabric. So that's what I do, and I chose the horizontal size a little bit, you might say on the small size, but I want some stretch here, otherwise it becomes sloppy here. Don't like sloppy there. So 46 it is. Just gonna use some HPL. And I got some glass underneath here, not ideal, but I don't have a cutting mat this big. 46.5. That's okay with me. This side is far off. Try to grab it as close as to here when you turn this. Otherwise it will pivot in the middle and this thing will, well then this side will be too large. Looks like I'm giving you a really stupid pointer, but actually I've seen many people, and myself included of course, do it wrong all the time. Yeah. And a half and 46.5. You see, it didn't change. If I just took this side and pulled it towards me, that side will become bigger. I use a roller knife. It's a Olfa knife, I think, or whatever it's called. Glass plate underneath, not ideal. Not even for this kind of knives. It will survive, but your blade will get dull quite quickly. But on the other hand, if you don't have a level surface, that will be even more terrible for the finish of the cut. So, too bad. It will cost me a blade a little bit sooner than I wanted. And you will notice this cut, you won't get that with scissors. So, get a roller blade. So, you see, that's quite a lot of fabric for just one speaker, don't you think? You could do like 10 or 10 sets of monitor loudspeakers with this amount of fabric that I just have as left over. Okay, let's do some sewing. Hell yeah. Line the two sides up, of course, but remember you're sewing it inside out, so if your fabric has two different patterns on each side, be sure to take the side you don't want to look at when it's finished. And in this case you can see it, the weave go diagonal on the inside, and on the front it's like squares, and that's the side I want on the outside. Let's see if I got all my settings right. This is usually on 5, but it's okay. Gonna make a stitch that zigzags, and yeah, looks alright, I think. Line them up. The needle I have in there is, I think, a normal needle. I do have a needle for stretch, but not gonna fit it in right now because this worked quite okay last time, so just gonna use it, I think. And now let's power away. There's not much room here because for my feet. It's not actually. It's quite a shitty table to be sewing at. I don't know where to leave the fabric, but hell, let's do it. Let's see if I can. So a little bit forward, a little bit backwards. The thing is, we probably gonna cut off this piece. So when we cut the thing to length, you might, maybe it's not even needed, but you might want to do a few stitches by hand. Huh? Sounds different. Make sure you got some material lined up out here. Don't stretch it because it will be put together stretched, sort of pre-stretched. It's nothing. It's not something you want. Did it do anything, or what's happening here? It's making a little bit different noise. Ah, it's working great. Quite a length, 3 meters. I bought some scissors for fabric finally. Where? That works great. I'll show you, by the way, why you want to buy scissors, especially for fabric, and not using them for anything else. I got some fabric. Some sort of thing I clean glue with and such. So it's ugly as fuck. Crappy scissors. Now you will see it will cut. Well, no. You see, that works like a charm. It does cut. So it's not like it's not cutting at all. It's just, for fabric, it's really important that things are razor sharp. So, never do it. Never cut anything else with it. I think I said this a few times already, but now I'm just gonna do the other side. It's gonna be my guess. Exactly the same. So, I'll pause you. The proof is in the pudding, I guess. So I have to turn it inside out still. I can tell they're a tiny bit too long, but I can cut that up off at the bottom. There also could be more A little bit more stretch would be okay with me. Consider the length. I got plenty of room to stretch it more, but it is okay. Does that change much? Yes, it does. That looks far more charming than that thing there. And I also had some trims. Oh. Old trims, or old trims. They are from a set of SMGA. But they had different kinds. They got the metal trims, they were really ugly, if you ask me. Especially over age. The chrome came off and such, it really looks disgusting. While these wooden trims, if you really wanted, you could like sand it back and then don't use a lacquer that's going completely yellow. Or maybe even leave it bare. I think this yellowish, I don't like the yellowish. It is nice wood, but the lacquer kind of fucks it up. For me at least. I mean, this feels really 70s. Well, oh, I didn't remove the feet yet, so it's not gonna fit completely nice. But, yeah. Looks like a new SMGA, especially if you would do the wood trims as well. But I'm not gonna do it. It's not difficult, but it's still a lot of work. Or maybe it isn't right now. And now I have a good sander. It's probably way faster than before. But still, this is gonna work. The fabric is correct. I'm gonna do the second one, and there are some other things I'm gonna change. Well, not exactly change, but or I changed already because I didn't receive feet with this pair, which is weird. Who loses the feet? So it's hard to see, but here, besides it's being a little bit dirty, I go over here with a wet cloth. We'll take care of it. You got here this kind of bolts that hold into the wood. They're like grabbing the wood. These are used to attach the feet, but the thing is they use, of course, American style imperial through threads, which I don't have any imperial sizes, so I had to replace these with metric ones, and of course make them black, because otherwise you will see them through the fabric. And then I bought some nice screws, and they come in black, which is of course what I wanted. And these are machine screws, and they are usually the black ones are for stronger load. Not that it's not needed for this application at all, but the nice thing is that they are black already, and you don't have to paint them or put them in, you know, heat them up and put them in motor oil or something. So if you got a machine shop or something that sells loads of fasteners, then look for these kind. These are really nice. So I'm gonna make the other one, then I'm gonna remove all the feet. Gonna do the fabric completely, attach the feet, and we're off to go. Oh well, attach this, the wooden trims as well, and they're ready. Still, it's much more work than I anticipated, as usual. So these are the panels. I unscrewed the terminal, although it wasn't really mounted because I knew I had to change the sock. So but we'll put the sock over it. You can see, by the way, it's previous owner touched it up at the point it fills usually, and I know he did many panels. Oh. He did many panels before the same way, and well, none came back, and I can see why. It's quite a hefty code, but only on the wires, so it will remain for years to come. I mean, if something fails, it will be failing here. Time will tell, since mostly it is, I think, UV related, how well they fill. I mean, this is an 80 from 88, so this one looks rather okay for 88. Not that bad. It got the kind of greenish coloration. It's okay. Most older models have it, but it can turn brown too, and then it becomes like hardened. That's not good. The green color is soft still, and they changed the color of the glue during some time, so then suddenly everything was white. So if you see an old pair, it doesn't need to be white to be in good condition, since the 30NF can be transparent, as the stuff I used. You got a white one, you got a green one, so choose your color. And I don't think they really care about the color. I think they choose it, maybe the white one, so you can see better where you applied the glue or something like that. I mean, it is exactly the same glue. So we're gonna fold the corner inside, if possible. Get this weird looking thing, but when you pull in down, fill. It should, yeah, pull the corner a little bit downwards where the trim is gonna sit, so you don't see this corner. Plenty of fabric. That's nice. And some pussycat as well on it. So to the next owner, he gets a piece of my cat. I would say a piece of my pussy, but that would be kind of weirdish. Also not possible. Okay. Nice detail about the Magnepan. They have this. Well, you have seen it maybe just before I put the cloth on. It has a ridge where this seam can fit in. It's really nice. So when the trim, if it's sandwiched by the trim, it doesn't like wobble. So it has this ridge all around. Good detail. Something I'm gonna use as well. Sorry, Magnepan, I would have come up with it myself, but in the end. Okay, so that's one panel. I'm gonna flip it around. So we got some fabric left, as you can see. No problem. Always put these down gently. If you put it down too fast, the air that is trapped underneath the membrane and the whole panel will break the membrane. seen this a few times. I had it once with a pair that was already broken but maybe fixable until I dropped it from like 5 centimeters, which was a little bit too much apparently. Then I could throw it away. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna actually, this huge amount of fabric, I'm just gonna leave it here right now, I think. Then staple and then cut. I know the thing is here still. Well, there's lots of room to pull. So what I'm gonna do, I am gonna cut it with a pair of scissors. Yep. This feels always tricky, all the hard work, and I'm gonna cut it. And if I fuck up, here, another piece for maybe a tiny loudspeaker. I am gonna save it, you never know. So this might even be still be too large. If I fold it like this. Well, not gonna cut off more. I do it after stapling. First gonna fix this. So this is supposed to be here, sitting here. I'm gonna stretch it a little bit so I know where I have to make a hole. It's gonna be like a tiny cross. I'm gonna use my solder iron for that. So somewhere here. Don't make it too big, or yeah, or you're fucked again. Just make a small cross. The terminal just has to be able to slip in when you stretch it out a little bit. So, you're warm. Gonna pull on this. Gonna see where the terminal is, right there. Not hot enough. I should be able, with some pulling, to just put this in, hopefully, without ripping it. Just don't want to cut a too big hole. So there you are. Might need. No, that's gonna be okay. You see, it does pinch it because of this resistor here a little bit. There are two things I can do. Either make it bigger, in this case I might have to, because this looks not nice. I can remember I had this problem. This fucking resistor is screwing it up. Looks better. Yeah, it's gonna work, but it's also the wrong way around. Just some fiddling, because you don't want to overcut it. At least I don't. Not gonna do more than this. I mean, in cutting it. Jesus, that was some fucking annoying job, because the thing screws in at a different location as I thought it would. So yeah, it was quite hard to get this in the cross I cut. The cross had to be a little bit more this way. So nice for the next panel, but this panel will survive. I'm just gonna tack this down so it is nice and flat, and I'm gonna give it a bit more tension on the other side, because this side is quite fragile with this hole in it. Just keep it that way. Let's go. It's a bit like you know, the paper on the paper on presents. I fucking hate it. Hard part corner. Which one? Really? Yeah, so that one is empty. Of course, one short. As you would expect. Yeah, need a few more, and then one panel is done. So I cut away the leftover material. Kind of weird. I'm not really sure how they did it in the factory version of the how they stapled it. I mean, to have some fabric left. You should have some fabric left, I guess, if you want to ever disassemble it. But it might as well be. I can remember it was quite a struggle to redo one, because there wasn't much you can pull on and then put a staple in there. So, but except some hairs, that one is ready to do some more music. Oh, I forgot one thing. I have to poke some holes. That's the only downside of this fabric. If it's stretched somewhere, you can see it changing in the light. Also, if you do this a lot, as I do right now, it becomes dirty, and you see that as well. I have to poke some holes here for the feet. Oh, let's attach the feet while we're at it. Feet, and the new screws, which are the correct size, which is nice, so they don't protrude. Might add a ring. You can add a ring. It's not really necessary, but if someone wanted. Good. I think they're nice. That's one perfectly fine, almost 30-year-old Magnepan. 30, yeah, really? Yeah, that's quite a lot of time. And a puss. Hi, pussycat. But yeah, trims are on. Well, of course it's black, so there's not much to see. You know, the reason why I have this very long cloth, line, so to speak, or whatever, you know, it's just nice and tight. So yeah. Nice. That's it. Fix SMGA or another one for that matter, and they're all the same, of course.